Good day, gamers. 14 here, and welcome to episode 9 of Minecraft StoneBlock. Hello, everyone. I'm doing well, and I hope you're doing well as well. We are going to show off a few improvements that we've made around Center Base here, some expansions, and then get to work on some side projects in Tinker's Construct as well as Mechanism. So to begin, the work on expanding out all of the different side rooms has been going fairly well so far. Honestly, it's just a bunch of busy work, off-camera work of mining a bunch of stone, making a bunch of tools to continue mining a bunch of stone, compacting it all into the compressed stone, growing trees, harvesting trees, and so on. Just a lot of the same thing. We've got the Arboretum here, which is where the tree farm is going to be. It is in progress. I need to make a few things here and there. I also need to fill in the floor once I'm done harvesting all the leaf blocks I need for all the side rooms. The other main reason that I haven't filled in this floor yet, the divot in the floor, is to make sure if I grow a big enough tree, I'm not harvesting all the leaf blocks from the roof again, which has happened a few times. But the main reason I haven't set up more of this room, at least for the moment, is because when I was doing some off-camera work previously, I was coming over here, getting some of the wood, apples, leaf blocks, and stuff from these hopping bonsai setups. And when I happened to grab some of the logs, the mineral wood logs from this one, I realized that, oops, that gives me an achievement or an advancement. Menglin Discovery. We take a look at the advancements. Chop down a mineral tree, which can most easily be found in Menglin biomes. I wasn't recording at that time just because, I was listening to different TV shows and stuff on Amazon. And I was like, well, I now have an advancement that I didn't show you all. So let me revert back a little bit. Didn't lose much progress or anything, but I needed to make sure that I did that portion on camera. That way you all would be able to see that. Let's see. We will need to do things like crafting a squeezer, a drying basin, the mineral production and stuff, and so on. But for now, at the very least, I can move this stuff once I've filled the floor back in. And I'm able to continue working on the different tree farm portions. The other rooms are, they're kind of in progress. I'm digging out the southern room here. You'll be able to see it better on the mini map up the top, and I can show it right here. So you're going to have the northern area be for the trees. That's going to be the Arboretum. We're going to have one side over here be for the barnyard area for all the different chickens and cows and stuff. One area over here is going to be for botania stuff. And then down here is going to be where all the crops go. I am also kind of reconfiguring some of the pathways that lead between the main central area and the side areas. I have been using a 3x3 setup, but I'm trying out 2x2 because the 3x3 felt kind of too big, especially considering it's just me walking through there. But then when I do a 2x2, it feels too squished because the character model is 2 blocks tall. I'm already hitting my head on the leaf blocks. But this feels too wide because it's 2.5 blocks-ish wide because of the fence gates. Or the fences, I should say. Not sure exactly how I'm going to set all these up because I want them to be pretty uniform going all different directions. So that part's a work in progress. I'll figure it out as I go. The main biggest change is over here, the barnyard. I've got an area set up for all the growing chickens. So we've got an area to hatch eggs. We have a couple roosts set up with the bone white chicken and the smart chicken just producing bone meal and eggs. I don't think I'm going to be running out of food anytime soon. Not that I was previously, but even more so. I've also got the bone white and smart chicken over here producing chicken manure, feathers, more eggs, and so on. And then I've got these chickens that I made previously just starting up so I can get the triple tens at a later time. Over here, I do have set up the Pam's Harvest Craft ground trap and water trap here again. This is currently producing a little bit of stuff. Just got the ground trap with the main chest and the wooden hopper here for all the bait. I did make some topiary grass, which if we take a look here, topiary grass is a dirt block surrounded by seeds. That essentially just makes a block that looks like a grass block with grass texture on all sides. Some mods will add a kind of like a grow over portion to their visuals for the dirt block. When it becomes a grass block, if this edge is exposed to air, that will grow over in grass as well. Some do, some don't. I'm not too worried about it, but I figured I just wanted to have a little bit of grass right here, and there's no dirt slabs. So I went ahead and placed this here, so that way I can access anything in this small storage crate. And then over here, we got the water trap going, and it's already collecting things like fish, duck, and this will just produce materials as we go. Over here, this pen is going to be where I'm going to be storing the animals once I move them from over there into over here. So that way I'll have an area for some sheep, some pigs, cows, those polar bears, rabbits, and so on. The main things that I want to do today is progress a bit in Tinker's Construct and Mechanism. The first thing we're going to be doing in Tinker's Construct is we're going to be getting, let's see, we'll need the stencil table, the pattern chest, and some blank patterns. I'm going to need to make more blank patterns in a bit, but that's okay, because I would like to go ahead and make the casts, all the available casts in Tinker's Construct. And to do that, I need, take a look, see here, I'm going to need these patterns to make the little parts. Like, you take the binding pattern, you make a binding out of a material, then you put that binding in the casting table, pour either gold or aluminum brass over it, that becomes the cast, like these, and then you can use this to just pour the molten metal directly into, say, for example, the pickhead cast, and you now have a cast pickhead of whatever metal you used. In other times that I played with Tinker's Construct, I usually tend to use gold for this. Even though gold is more expensive at 2 ingots per cast versus 1 ingot per cast of aluminum brass, mainly because I tend to have a lot more gold on hand versus the aluminum and copper. That tends to be a lot harder to find. But at the moment, I'm needing a lot of gold for the Feral Flare lanterns and mega torches. So gold is kind of at a premium, whereas I have a ton of aluminum and a ton of copper. So you know what? This time I'm going to switch it up and I'm going to use the aluminum brass. But first, like I said, we do need to make a bunch of blank patterns to make all of these patterns here. Let me grab, let's grab some wood planks and some sticks. And all these patterns will be stored here in the pattern chest until I need them. Okay, going down the line, we've got sharpening kit, shard, pickaxe, and shovel. We've got the axe head, broad axe, the sword, and large sword. Go ahead and make a few more of these. Boop, 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 boop. That should be enough for the moment. Back to here. Last one was large sword. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. We've got the hammerhead, the excavator, the comma head, and the scythe. We've got the pan. We've got the sign plate. I feel like I'm missing one. 1 second. Let me go back through them. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's because my inventory is 9 blocks wide instead of 8. That's why. Okay, back to it. We got the tough tool rod already. We got the binding pattern, tough binding pattern, wide guard, hand guard, cross guard, large plate, knife blade, and bow limb. Then we've got the bowstring, arrowhead, the arrow shaft, and the fletching. All right. We have some blank patterns left over. That's perfectly fine. So long as we don't have more than a stack, I don't really worry or care. Plus, I can use these to make books later on. So I've made extras, no big deal. So into the pattern chest goes all of these patterns. Just shift them in like so. Boop, boop. And there we go. The pattern chest is now full of all the patterns we can make. And because of that, honestly, we can now retire the stencil table. It's one of those weird things about Tinkers is like, once you've made all of the patterns, you never have to use the stencil table again. So there's no real reason to even have it like set up in your Tinker's Construct crafting area. So it's just going to go away for right now, but that's okay. Again, I'm not throwing it away. I'm simply putting it away for now. What I would like to do next while I'm making the representative samples of all of those things is I want to go ahead and smelt up some aluminum brass. We are running somewhat low, quote unquote low, on lava here in the smeltery just because I've been smelting up so much stuff. So I do want to put some extra lava in here. I also, for the time being, want to swap out the fluid extraction cable for the faucet because I don't want the fluid extraction cable to automatically be siphoning out the materials. I want them to actually mix in the smeltery and then I'll pour it out. I'm going to grab, we're going to grab some diorite to use that as lava generation. Bloop, 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 and bloop. And we'll put in a little bit more in just a second. Bloop, like so. All right. So we'll be adding lava to that as needed. If we take a look at aluminum brass, here we go. Aluminum brass takes 1 copper and 3 aluminum. So we'll need a fair amount. I want to have a little extra just in case, but we don't need to make tons because beyond a few uses past this, I'm not going to use it very much for anything, but I do want to have a little extra. So once again, it is 1 copper for every 3 aluminum. So let's see, 1 copper for every 3 aluminum. We're going to do 9 aluminum and 3 copper. 1 copper for every 3 aluminum. Reminding myself of that math because I will make that mistake sometimes of I'll put the wrong amount in and end up messing up all the quantities. I have to continuously add and subtract and re-add in more materials to try and balance everything out. It's, it happens, but it's all good. So that's melting up to the aluminum brass. The next thing that I would like to do is I'm going to take, we'll take about 3 stacks of sticks. And I need to start making one of each of the parts with the part builder. So what we do is we're going to take the sharpening kit. Actually, let me try something real quick. If I put the part builder right next, yes, there we go. That's what I was looking for. Okay. Material goes here. Sharpening kit. Boom. And what we're going to do is we are just going to repeat this process for each one of these. So what's going to happen is this, these little pieces here, these wooden shards, wooden pickaxe, these are going to be consumed by the casting of these casts, basically. So I can make them out of anything, but it's all going to get used up and destroyed, quote unquote, when I make the cast. So I might as well just make it out of wood. I have a ton of wood. Shovel head. I've made them out of stone before, and, you know, it works. But I figured, why not? I'll just use sticks. Oh, excuse me. So we're just going to go through and make all these. Refresh the sticks every now and again. We just did the large sword blade. Put them in the wrong spot. Hammerhead. The excavator. We got the comma. And we got the scythe. Speaking of scythes, I've actually retired the scythe and sickle that I was using to harvest in, I believe it was the previous episode, because I realized after using it a couple times that unfortunately parts of the farm are a little too close to the leaf blocks that make up the wall. And I was actually destroying the leaf blocks that were built into the wall when I was trying to harvest the crops. So like, well, that's not going to be good. So let me just go ahead and stop using that tool. It was only ever just a thing to try out just to see how well it worked for manual farming. I don't have to use it by any stretch of the imagination. There we go. I don't think, yeah, I can't make a bowstring out of that, and that's fine. There's going to be a few of these that are going to have to wait for other materials, but that's okay. And fletching. Yep, so that's everything but 2. At least that's available with these. Put the sticks away. If we come over here and take a look, yep, the molten aluminum brass is mixing quite nicely. Still got a fair amount of aluminum to go, but that's okay. Go ahead and feed more lava into here. While that is going, I'm going to go ahead and take some of these chicken eggs that I made previously. I don't need any of these chickens at the moment, but I'd like to go ahead and use up the eggs just to get those chickens up and running. Originally, I was thinking about having a set of each of the kind of default base level of the chickens. There we go. Just to have them in storage in case I need to like somehow start back, if one of the chickens like dies or a machine goes weird or something and it destroys all the animals around. But considering how quickly and easily I've been getting an absolute ton of the, the triple 10 eggs growing from one triple 10 chicken, especially with the smart chicken, there's really no reason for me to keep the base level 111 eggs for these chickens. I'll just have a couple triple 10 chickens in storage and a couple triple 10 eggs for each kind of chicken in storage. And if for whatever reason I have to restart a chicken, I've already got it at the triple 10. Okay. So everything is now aluminum brass. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour out one thing of aluminum brass to have as a block, just to have it on hand. And then we're going to start making all these castings. So that is going to heat up. We need to grab the casting table. And again, I do want to do this by hand, just to make sure I don't accidentally overflow some of these things or start actually making some of these materials out of aluminum brass. All right. Casting basin goes in here, as well as the block of aluminum brass. We plunk this down. We take our first thing and pour. That takes 1 ingot, and there we go. We now have our first cast. I'm going to grab another couple chests real quick just to put all these in. Eventually, I'll have a one of these storage crates underneath it to actually hold all the stuff. But for now, I'm just going to make a quick and dirty double chest right next to it. Boop, boop. Just to store everything. There we go. Keeping an eye on our chicken eggs over there. Okay, yeah, that can go right there. So we got the sharpening kit. Next up is the wooden shard. Now again, these are technically being destroyed, but anything that I would be doing to make these out of, these could be made out of diamond, and the thing that is being cast would still be destroyed. So I'm not making it out of any sort of precious material. This is all made out of effectively sticks. Ooh, pardon me. Just so I don't have to worry about it. It's like, no, I've used up, you know, a whole stack of stone to make all these things when I have an infinite stone generator. Why would you do such a thing? Nah, it's just all made of wood. Go. Now again, this isn't going to get every cast just yet. These are all the ones that I can make from these patterns. A little later, I'll be able to start making a few other things. Let's see. There is the gear cast that I'll definitely need to make, because it'll be much cheaper to make gears casting directly this way. There is the, I think it's called the gemstone cast, which is essentially an emerald. The question is, do I want to waste an emerald doing this? I might be able to find something else that equates to a gemstone or equates to an emerald and make the cast that way. Let's see. We got plenty aluminum brass. Like I said, the fact that all of these are taking 1 aluminum brass versus the 2 gold that I normally use, it's quite nice. But this will get me a good head start into being able to make all these things if and when I want to. I will play around with a bunch of them sometime just because, but with all of the other options there are, I don't really need to use the Tinker's Construct stuff. But it is nice that for the vast majority of the time they are unbreakable. You just repair them. Let's see, my chickens should be getting pretty close to hatching. So let's go ahead. Let's grab some seeds. There we go. I also want to grab the chicken stick. Boop. And we'll check on them. See how much longer they have to go. Still got a bit. That's okay. Continue working over here. On the tool rod. It is good to make some nice progress. I've been doing, like I said, just a lot of fairly monotonous digging off camera. It is fun. You know, I'm not bored with playing this mod pack or anything, but to set up center base exactly how I want it to, it does take some working time. So I try and save you all from, you know, sitting and watching me dig with 20 hammers and then having to go compact all the stone that's generated from those hammers and so on. Just do it off camera. I can listen to some music videos, listen to some other streamers, and then bring y'all back for this stuff where I'm actively doing things. There we go. Almost done with these ones. Blink. Large plates. so there were 2 that I could not make from wood. So we do need to go make those before we finish this section up. But that should not take much time at all. Let's see. Chickens are still eggs right now. There we go. Now, again, as you know, as a side project, I could be making all of these casts out of clay. You do have the ability to do that if you take a look. Let's see. Yeah, all of these like tool rod clay cast, comma head clay cast. The problem is doing that it consumes the cast when you make the item. So you'd have to spend the material to make the tool rod, pour the clay onto the tool rod to make the tool rod clay cast, and then you pour the material into the tool rod clay cast to make the actual tool rod, but that consumes the clay cast. So I might as well not worry about that. I'll just stick with, hey, my chickens have hatched. Come here, little chickens, little baby chickens. All right. There's that one. There we go. So yeah, it's really not worth wasting all the clay that it would take, even though for some of the things I'm barely ever going to use them, barely ever going to make them. Others, yeah, I'll go ahead and use it a ton of times, like the gears. When making certain machines, I'm going to be making a lot of gears, so it makes sense to have the permanent cast versus making clay ones over and over again. The sharpening kits, if I am really using a lot of Tinker's Construct stuff, would make sense to have the sharpening kits be made out of the aluminum brass or gold versus making clay ones all the time. Others, like the comma head or like the hammerhead, probably you could get away with using clay, but again, why waste the materials? Especially with this mod pack, clay is not hard to make, but it is a little harder to come by. It takes it's a little bit of a process versus once you have the aluminum brass, just make a bunch and you're done. All right, get the inky black chicken. 2, 1, and chicken. There we go. Come on, I see you there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go ahead and feed this little guy up. There we go. And I can plant these chickens in their little coops, in their little hatchery nests in a little bit. So go grab 5 more chickens and continue on. Boop, 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 boop. 1, 2. Oh, one of them. That's right. One of them was the bone white. That's fine. 5. Perfect. Get these ones going, and we'll head back over to the smeltery. We've got pink, purple, yellow, gray, and cactus green. All right, those are going. We'll check these real quick just to make sure. Plenty of drops. And plenty of drops. Perfect. Moving on. Back to the smeltery we go. How is our lava doing? Lava is plenty good. Plenty good. Okay. So we have made a cast of all those materials that we could with that. So things like the ingot cast, the nugget cast, gem cast, plate cast, and gear. The 2 we're missing at the second, though, is going to be the bowstring, which is that one, and then the fletching pattern. The bowstring, if we take a look, there we go. We can make this out of different materials. Sole, just standard string, slime vine, regular vines, or hemp fiber. We have a ton of string. It's in mob drops. And considering we now have a tree over here that's making string infinitely, I'm not worried about using up some string to do this. I mean, I have a lot of string. So we'll come over here. We will go back to the part builder and bowstring pattern like so. And then we need, for the last thing, the fletching. So we can make it out of feathers. Let's see, feathers, slime leaf, and leaf. Once again, I have infinite feathers because I have so many chickens that are producing feathers. So I'll just make it out of feathers. So fletching, boom, bam, done. Okay. We'll put away the feathers for now. I do want to have more seeds for when those chickens grow up. There we go. Let's head back over to our table. Have a couple slurps of apple juice. There we go. Okay. String bowstring. Make the string cast. Like so. And last for the moment, the feather. Or the fletching, I should say. Excuse me. Okay. So we now have 7 blocks and 8 ingots worth of molten aluminum brass in here, which is quite a nice amount. But now we need to get it out of here. So I'm going to take 1 ingot of aluminum brass. We have 7 blocks, 8 ingots. I toss it back in here. Let's swap out the casting table. And we'll swap out the seared faucet. Like so. So back up to 8 blocks. Put that there. Put that there. And now it'll automatically drain. So whenever I need to mix some stuff, I'll switch out the extraction cable for the faucet, let it mix, produce what I need to, and then switch back to this, and then just have everything flow on out. Like so. But now I have a representative sample of aluminum brass. Let's see. Aluminum brass is going to go here. Because as we like to do, we go in alphabetical order, because then it makes it easier to try and find where stuff is. I know there's probably some people who just don't care. They'll just, shift everything into the chest, or just let it go in, whatever order. Because there are some mods that basically allow you to just sort your inventory and it just goes in an order. I tend to like to have stuff be in alphabetical order. Just kind of like, okay, I'm looking for clay. Boom, clay's going to be right there. I'm looking for silver. Okay, I know redstone is here. QRS, silver is going to be there. Why? It makes sense. So there we go. Aluminum brass. And then this is just draining the rest of the aluminum brass. That is a little visual bug. We've had it happen a few times. We did drain everything out of there correctly. There's the 2. There's 8. All right. We are good. Let's see. The next thing that I would like to do is I want to continue working on mechanism stuff now that we got those done. These eggs are going well. I'd like to make a few things with mechanism. So I'm going to move this back over here to be able to power the mechanism stuff. we go, like so. The thing that I want to start off with is I want to make a battery. That way, when I have when I'm generating a bunch of power, I don't have to worry as much about how much power is being generated. I can just let it run for a while, and the battery will soak up most of the power. That is going to be the energy cube. So we're going to need steel casing, energy tablets, iron, and redstone. Let's see. Do I want to make this first, or do I want to make the compressor? I actually think I want to make the compressor first. Going through... there it is, the compressed redstone. So I need, I need the enrichment chamber is what I need. So let's go ahead and get the materials together for that. I'm going to need iron, a little bit more iron. I'm going to need redstone. I'm going to need some coal to make the steel. I'm not going to use the other method of making steel. I'm going to use steel from over here. So we need the enrichment chamber. Let's see. The electronic circuits is redstone and osmium. So I'm going to need some osmium. I have a fair amount here. And let's see, what else do we need? Steel casing. I need glass. How much glass do I currently have? A little bit. And let's make a little more. Actually don't have much sand made. Pre-made sand. That's okay. I will make some sand off camera to make sure I have plenty for next time. Are my chickens growing? My chickens are already growing up. Okay. Quick diversion. Time for more chickens. And then we'll get back to mechanism. Chickens come first. Pop. Who made a popping sound over here? Was it you, chicken? No, it was you, chickens. There we go. Playful chicken. Use a bunch of seeds on all these guys. Where are you running off to? There we go. You guys stop running away. I need to feed you all of these seeds to make you grow up nice and fast. There we go. 2 chickens. Hi guys. Come on over. Seeds to you. Thank you. I should have one more chicken over there. Again, making sure to not feed them any more seeds once they hit about 10 seconds of their cooldown, just because once it hits 8 seconds, it doesn't do anything. And even when it gets to 10 seconds, like that, you're not going to gain much time between the 10 seconds and 8 seconds. 1 and chicken. There we go. All right. Shift all you. How many seeds do I have? Not a lot, but I do have a lot of wheat that I can turn into seeds, so that will hold off for a bit. Back to mechanism. And I can go ahead and put away the chicken stick for now. Back to the chickens. There we go. Okay. Enrichment chamber. We need the steel casing, which means we need to make steel first off. grab the diorite. Go ahead and be making all of the power, please and thank you. So let's see. It is one piece of coal. So that is go. Just keep feeding this machine here. I actually, you know, the weird thing that it is, I can grab my energetic shears and put this in here to charge up this machine. Bam! This is so weird that that works like that. I'm not complaining, it's just, it feels odd. Let's... Oh, okay. We'll grab that out of there. I'm going to need to smelt some small quantities of stuff. So I'm just going to use sticks for the moment, rather than wasting an entire piece of coal to cook one or two things, because that's inefficient. Right. That is continuing to make power. There we go. That process. And then back through again. So for the enrichment chamber, we need 4 pieces of steel total. So let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2, and smelt that up. How much power do you have in you? You have basically nothing. Continue, please, and thank you. So yeah, we're going to try and make a few Tinker's Construct machines today. Oh, that feels so strange. Again, I'm not complaining. I'm not going to be like, you know, oh, this is cheaty or anything. It's part of the mod pack, but it feels weird to have a pair of shears that I'm using to power my machine. At the same time, it's going to be incredibly funny over the fact of I can most likely plug the shears into the battery and both discharge the shears into the battery, therefore gaining electricity. And then if my shears are running low on durability, I can just plug them into the battery to add power to it. So, okay, sure. Because modded Minecraft. That's modded Minecraft. That's right. I have that sand chicken over here. Let's go ahead and grab some of that sand and that'll become more glass. Yay! Smart thinking. All right. Steel. Go ahead and smelt the sand. So enrichment chamber is going to be, we got the steel casing, and then we need the basic control circuits, which is redstone and osmium. So we are going to need 2 pieces of redstone, like so, and 2 pieces of osmium, like so. Please and thank you. Make all of the power. More power from the shears, because why not? There we go. I know I can just leave the shears in there. I'm just pulling them out because. Okay. Enrichment chamber, like so. So now what we can do is we can compress the redstone, the coal, and something else to basically get more out of it. So we got the enrichment chamber. The next thing I wanted to make the energy cube. That's right. So we're going to need another steel casing and energy tablets. Energy tablets take enriched alloy. So what we do is power up once again with the shears. We're going to do 2 pieces of coal. The coal becomes compressed carbon, and now I get 4 pieces of steel per 1 piece of coal, instead of essentially half a piece of steel per coal. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Generate more power, please and thank you. Okay. So now we have 160. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This process does take a little bit of time, but that's okay. I will try that again. I will eventually be able to make some speed ups for these things. Apple juice whilst we wait. Right, that is progressing nicely. Let me go ahead and make a little bit of compressed redstone as well. Let's grab some granite now. I was about to say diorite, but I was already using the diorite. Grab some granite to convert that into lava to generate more power. Thank you. Compressed redstone. Let's take this enriched iron. We'll go ahead and melt it up into some more steel. Oh, no. Herp. I need to make it into steel powder first. Wrong thing. I was missing a step. The other reason that I want to have a battery for this is eventually I want to set up a hopper that's just going to be feeding stone into this crucible here to just be constantly generating lava to generate power. But I don't want to do so until I have the battery set up. That way, if I put too much in there, the whole piping and stuff is going to store a lot of power. This is going to store a fair amount of power as well, and the machines themselves have power storage. But then I'll have the battery to just take any excess. There we go. Now we can smelt this steel. I am going to need a little bit of gold. And I do mean a little bit because I don't have much. That is something that I will be eventually making, is all of the auto sievers and stuff. But for right now, I want to get this little setup up and running. Bloop, bloop. Make power, please and thank you. Alright. There we go. And we use this. We need to make these enriched alloys. So 1 for 8. Go. Lunk that in there to power everything. Thank you for the steel. Please make more steel. We'll add more sticks to this. Very handy having a tree farm that I can just make infinite sticks from. Especially once I get the sawmill from Mechanism here. Then I'll just be able to make even more sticks. Much faster. Little drink. Alrighty, how are we looking? We've got some enriched alloys. Very nice. More lava, please and thank you. Now we're going to need to make, I believe, yes. So we got a steel casing. And we've got 1 energy tablet. We just need to make, wait for the rest of the enriched alloys. The other. Use up the rest of that redstone. At least at the moment, there's no real reason for me to have any of these energy tablets on me to like power anything, because beyond these shears, nothing I am currently using it actually uses power. Like the configurator uses an ever so slightly tiny amount of power whenever I have to switch how stuff works, but it's minuscule compared to other power using things later on. There we go, basic energy cube. So this thing holds 2 million joules, or 2 megajoules. I place it here, and we are going to configure the sides. Let's see. Top, I want off. I want to essentially, let's see. I want to input from the bottom and output from the sides. Okay. That is output right there. You see that little green marker there. That is now blank. There we go. Output. And then let's see. That's the bottom. Perfect. There we go. So that is going to output there. And then it's essentially it's a power cycle. It's going in from the bottom, out through the sides. So this thing will always have a little bit of a charge to it. Okay. Gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. I was really afraid that was going to break all of a sudden. I thought of that. I'm like, well, if I put that in there, it's going to use up, like, it's going to take all the power that's in it. So I hope that doesn't break the shears. Oh, thankfully enough it didn't. Okay, we're golden. We're good. We're good. So yeah. So now anytime I put stone in here, that gets transformed into lava. The lava creates power in here. And this will slowly collect the power. It'll also distribute it to the other machines as needed. But this now makes a very large buffer for if I just hopper in a ton of stone into here. So that'll be very helpful. Let's see. So we got the enrichment chamber. We got the metallurgical infuser. The next thing I want to make, I believe, is going to be the sawmill. There we go. Precision sawmill. So once again, a steel casing, the electronic circuits, and some enriched alloys. Okay. So we're going to need more steel. So we've got to press that. Go compressed carbon, please and thank you. That is empty. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go ahead and do that. Let's see. What else do I want to work on while these machines are running? I know what I would like to set up, at least for the time being, while these machines are running, and I can run a few processes just off camera. There is, if we take a look in Roost, I believe it is, there's the chicken breeder. So with planks, hay bales, and seeds, we make a chicken breeder. We put 2 types of chickens into the chicken breeder, and that makes more chickens. I would like to set that up, just a very basic setup, just to see how it works. I've not played around with it much. But I'd like to figure it out. Let's grab some seeds. And we need some planks. So we're just going to make one. Okay. Let's set it down and we'll take a look at it. So I'm assuming we need seeds here. And we put 2 chickens in there. Okay. and that creates the chicken item that we can pick up, which means we'll want to have a hopper system to hopper out the chickens themselves. So let's do a chest. We'll make a wooden hopper like so. Make another chest for those to go into. Again, we're just kind of making a quick and dirty setup just to see how things look. There we go. And like so. Perfect. All right. So we'll put these away. We'll grab, let's say two stacks of seeds. You can actually convert wheat into seeds like so. So thankfully enough, all the wheat that I've been growing can also be made into seeds. All right. We have 2 10 chickens. They are over here. Yeah, we've got the bone white and the smart chicken. Can the bone white chicken be bred? Let's see. With a smart chicken. I don't think so. It just needs, yeah, it needs the other colors. That's all right. We'll still give this a shot, see what it looks like. So we're going to set that here, that here. We're going to put the chicken breeder on top. And then I should be able to hopper in like so. So if I put the seeds here, perfect. Okay. That's set up. And since we have some new chickens, normally I would do this with the 10s, but for now, I just want to demonstrate this as we take the enriched iron and have it become steel. How's our power doing? Power is doing beautiful. We shall go back to our chickens. So lapis blue chicken. Cactus green makes cyan. A log chicken makes a snowball chicken. Purple slime. Lunar reactive dust chicken. What the heck is that? But you know, for silliness sake, let's take the lapis chicken. Oh, let's see. Just let me check something. Cocoa brown, orange, pink, purple, redstone. Sure, why not? I have a red chicken. I have a sand chicken. Let's grab the animal net and the chicken catcher. And let's play around with this. Because I'm going to need to make the redstone chickens later. Anyway. So we're going to take the animal net. We're going to place you down like so. And again, I would normally do this with the 10s, but I'm just doing this to experiment. Red chicken, sand chicken. Do that. Okay. So that's going to take a little bit of time, and that's going to breed these 2 chickens together. Don't know how long. We're not going to sit here and wait. We're just going to let that run. And we'll see how many seeds it takes. Let's head back over to the mechanism. Thank you for the steel. Please make more steel. Okay, back to the sawmill. Let's see. Got the steel casing. And we need those, which is redstone and osmium. Redstone and osmium, please and thank you. more lava. And I think I can charge up my configurator doing this. Again, the configurator itself barely takes any power when I'm using it, but it's good to have charged up. All right, there's my control circuits. And we have the precision sawmill. Place that down. It's got a lot of power in it. So what I can use with this is I can saw, you can saw logs into planks. You get more planks. Actually, if we take a look in here, log, let's just go to, oh, I'm sorry. They're not called logs. It's just called wood. Yeah. So oak wood, we go over to the sawmill, which is right there. So yeah, the oak wood gets sawed into planks. So you get 6 planks per wood, per log, essentially, with a 100% chance of sawdust, which is good. The planks themselves then get sawed into 6 sticks with a 25% chance of sawdust. So you go from 1 log making 4 planks, which makes 4 8 sticks, to 1 log making what, roughly 30 something sticks. 6 planks per 6 planks per log, 6 sticks per plank. Yeah, so 36. You then saw these sticks into more sawdust, like so, and then you use the sawdust in the enrichment chamber to make charcoal. So each log will end up giving you roughly about 4 to 5 pieces of charcoal per log used, versus the standard of 1 log is 1 piece of charcoal. So if you're hurting for materials to burn to make power, once you have this thing up and running, you can convert a very big tree farm into tons of power. Tons and tons. Boop, boop, boop. Let's go take a look at our chicken breeder. Aw. So we're at about 40%. I'm assuming this is going to use one seed per breeding cycle. Again, I'm mostly going to be doing this once we I'm mostly going to be doing this once I have the 1010 chickens, because it'll go a lot faster. What do I want to set up? Let's go ahead and... Oh, you got googly eyes. Let's set up a chicken area for each of the chickens that we've made today while we're waiting for that to go. I'm going to be ending somewhat soon, but I want to wait at least for 1 breeding worth of these chickens. So we'll go ahead and let's see. Put away the seeds for now. Put away these ores for now. We've got the glass, which I'll definitely have to make a lot of sand, or continue breeding that sand chicken. How many chickens do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to need 10 nesting pens all told. And we need a lot of wood. Well, not a lot, but an amount of wood. Let's see. Oop, perfect. And then, perfect. All right. Yeah, we'll set up the hopper. Yeah, we'll go ahead and set up the hoppers while we're at it. At 61%. So wooden hoppers are cheap and easy to make and can be converted into other things very easily. Boop. Take half of these. There we go. And just set up, like I said, a little quick and dirty area. Oh, good pop. Quick and dirty area for the chickens. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This will start me being able to collect all the drops from these guys, and I will set them back up once I have kind of the final area in mind. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Please give me those back. Please and thank you. There we go. Perfect. Back over here and take a look. How we at? 80%. It's working! I'm going to need, put away the configurator. I need that and that, and I need a little bit more food. There we go. Chickens. You got googly eyes. That one's got googly eyes. All right. Get all these guys set up. Oh, you've got a little man riding your head. That's cute. There we go. Got all those guys going. Let's see what these chickens are at. 96%. All right. Oh, a little bit of progress made tonight. Apologies if this episode is a little scatterbrained. This is actually the second time I've tried recording this episode. Earlier, it just wasn't happening. But it's okay. It happens. And cool. So it takes 2 seeds to do 1 breeding cycle. And we got another 111 sand chicken for our attempt. That's all right. I kind of figured it wasn't a guarantee that we were going to get the redstone chicken, but it was worth a shot. And as we have the 1010s, once we start producing more 1010 chickens, we're going to have a much higher chance of success in terms of turning those chickens into like the better quality ones. So what I'm going to do is, as I'm continuing to dig out other areas, I will come over and replace these chickens that we are seeing over here, just kind of continue the cycle of replacing them with the better chickens. So for example, replacing this 111 chicken with probably a 333, grow it up, so on, complete that cycle. I will show you all once again the final cycling into the triple 10, and then once I have multiple 1010s, I will be placing them into these breeding pens here, the chicken breeders for roost, to see what that looks like in terms of breeding 2 1010 chickens to attempt to get whatever the next step chicken is, because that is how you end up getting a lot of the different material chickens. So like Rubber chicken is bred from log and orange. Water is from gunpowder and snowball. Gas tier is from bone white and blaze rod. Copper is from yellow and cocoa brown, and so on. So I've got to do a lot of that kind of breeding in this chicken breeder in Roost to be able to get those. Yes, you can also do some of that breeding with the hatchery nesting pens, and I plan on doing that, but I do want to show off both methods of doing so. Much better, yes. But until next time, thank you all so very much for watching. Again, apologies if this episode's a little scatterbrained. Just was having some issues earlier trying to record what I wanted to and get everything out, but I think it went a lot better this time. Until next time, thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you have a good day and good game.